if you've got a lot of weight to lose, that would be probably an easier starting point in a way, because there is more energy available to you. If you have less to lose, it gets harder and harder. And as I'm sure all of you have heard, those last sort of 5 to 10 pounds, what people call the vanity weight, because it's just really that last little bit, your body does tend to, I don't know if it's actually fighting you, but it tends to feel like it wants to hang on to those a bit longer. So I would say, in a way, if you've got more to lose, not that it is easier, psychologically it might be harder. I don't know which is easier and harder, but you won't feel as, probably, I'm guessing, as hungry. I think your hunger signals go up when you have less weight to lose. At least that's been my experience. It's almost like the body knows, like, fat supplies are dipping and we need to keep some. The body senses, I think, that you need a certain amount of healthy body fat, and we do, especially as ladies. But overall, what you want to do, whether you've got 10 pounds, 30 pounds, 100 pounds to lose, is you have to be in a caloric deficit. You've got to create that deficit. And you create that deficit, well, you can do it any way you want to, but you have to restrict something. You're either going to just portion control all the food that you're already eating. That could or could not be easy for you. I don't know. If some of the food is too tempting and you're trying to only have half a portion or 2/3 of the portion, but you're used to having a full portion, you may battle with that. You could just switch to purely healthy foods, low calorie foods, fibrous foods. I mean, I always think that's the best way. Fill up on protein and vegetables. Vegetables are basically your fibrous things first, then add your clean source of carbs, and then you add your oils in the mix on top of that. That would be a good way to go. Lean proteins, fiber, carbs, very little oils and fats, healthy fats, like a small handful of nuts here and there. But some people don't want to do that. And if you don't want to do that, that's also okay. You would need to take your weight loss journey into your hands and then say, okay, I cannot restrict like that. I'm going to restrict by doing one meal a day. If that suits you, go for it. If you want to intermittent fast up until a certain point in the day and then eat all your meals between certain hours, go for it. If you want to do keto or low carb and you find that that works for you, it's more satiating, go for it. If you find vegan works for you because it just naturally leads you to make healthier food choices, go for it. There shouldn't be a dogma around food. I don't know why there is. It's almost become religious. I really don't personally mind or care or even have an opinion on how people lose weight. I'm just telling you what's worked for me in the past. I'm telling you what I've learned through being a keto coach. And like I've said before, I no longer do that. I don't think it's the best way for most people, but if it works for you, then it works for you. And so if you were my client, I would take into account, what are you most likely to stick with in the long term? I would tell you to do this as a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. You can't just say, I'm going to do this for 3 months and then when I've lost the weight, I'm going to go back to my old habits. You will put the weight back on if you go back to your old habits for long enough. If you get down to a certain weight through a very strict means, yes, you can change back to eating a bit more, maintain your weight, and then if you find you're gaining, you can get back down to a stricter version of eating. So you can play around with it. Of course you can. You can do this any way that you want to do it. There is no one road that leads to weight loss. And remember, weight loss is never just linear. You don't go from being this weight down. It's never a straight line. It is always up and down. On the way down, it's going to trend down if you stick to your habits, but it's never a linear line. And yes, there may be a few plateaus. Yes, you may need a few diet breaks just to reset your mind and your spirit. If you're on a very strict form of eating, you may need to increase your steps, your cardio, your weight training. So that brings me to the next point, the movement part of weight loss, which is very important. I think it is. I think, look, you can lose weight by not moving around. You can lose weight with a desk job, but I think movement just makes it that much more doable, easy. You're giving yourself more of a calorie burn, therefore you've got more leeway to eat a bit more. If you are sitting sedentary and you need to lose weight, you can. I mean, I've seen people lose weight, after a big operation where they just don't want to or can't eat. So of course you can lose weight, and I mean, they can't move around at that point. You can lose weight at a desk job. However, it's easier with a bit of movement. Movement also boosts your mood. It gives you the endorphins. It's good for your mental health. And so I would encourage you to move if you're my client and you are on a weight loss plan. As I say, I no longer do clients anymore. I've done that before, but I'm just going to give you all the information right here for free. But I want you to tailor your weight loss plan to yourself. So I want you to be your own little weight loss coach. So think always calorie restriction, and that can look different. Portion control, 1 meal a day, keto, vegan, vegetarian, omnivore, whatever, pick any diet, any foods that work for you. And of course, you're going to make it your own. So you're going to say to yourself, I cannot live without X, Y, Z. For me, it's chocolate. I just cannot live without chocolate and coffee. Those are my two vices. I don't smoke. I hardly drink. I don't party. I don't do drugs. I don't do anything bad or naughty or dangerous, but chocolate, don't take that away from me. And coffee, don't take that away from me. And in general, let me have some chocolate cake. And so for me personally, and I mean, I no longer compete on stage. That is why I have my square of Lindt chocolate in the mornings. I just have one square every day. It's sanity for me. It just allows me to feel, so whether I'm stricter or less strict in a week, in a month, it's okay. I don't mind being strict because I know I've got my things. I've got my chocolate and my coffee. And for me, that is balance. That is mental sanity and clarity. For you, you might say, you know what, I don't care about chocolate, but let me have my, I don't know what it is, what's people's favorite foods. Maybe you like chips, crisps. Let me have a packet of crisps a week. I don't know, twice a week, whatever works. You've also got to do what works. You can't have all the foods because then you'll never lose the weight. So you've got to, like, for me, one square a day, and then now and then I'll have some cake, and then now and then I'll have whatever. The other way you can look at it is if you look at your whole year ahead, say, I'm going to be stricter during these times when I'm busy, when I'm at work, when I'm not thinking about food, and then I will relax around the holidays, I'll relax around Christmas. So you could do it that way, especially if, and I would encourage you to do this, if you're making this a lifestyle, which you must, if you want to keep the weight off, it's got to be for life. Ladies, you can't change back to your old ways if you want to keep the weight off. You have to now say, I'm doing a new lifestyle. You've got to incorporate exercise or whatever movement you enjoy. You've got to do it for life. So you've got to say to yourself, okay, I hate swimming. I'm not a swimmer. So that's personally me. I'm not a swimmer, but I like walking. I like running. So I do that often. If you hate, I don't know what it is you hate. Biking also, I'm not a cyclist. But maybe you love cycling. Maybe that's your investment in your health. You are going to cycle most weekends. And obviously, it's give or take again. If you're sick, if you've got an injury, don't panic, don't worry, recover. This is now for life. You've got to think of your body as a lifetime investment. And I'm not saying what weight is right for you. You determine that. This is your body. This is your health. This is your journey. I really feel you need to take ownership of your journey. You decide, okay, as I age, this is what I'm going to do. Now, a lot of you ask me, is it harder with age? Is the menopause weight a thing? Looking at women worldwide, across the board, 99% of them, we do. We gain weight around perimenopause and menopause. I don't know exactly why. I've researched and I've researched whether it's the hormones, whether it's the fact that we are slowing down, things are sore, it's harder to exercise because the recovery is not there. Ladies, I don't know what it is, but it is a fact. Don't beat yourself up about it. This is the other big key. No guilt, no shame about if you fall off your diet plan, whatever that is for you, if you don't get around to your exercise, if you gain a bit of weight back, don't beat yourself up. The minute you feel guilty is when you tend to throw in the towel and you say, that's it, it's too hard, I can't do it. Don't do that. Just relax. It's okay. You've got all your life to carry on this journey. If you have, let's say out of a month, 10 bad meals, and let's say you have 3 meals a day for 30 days in a month, that's 90 meals. If you have 10 bad, quote unquote, bad meals, there's no bad food, but you know what I mean, bad for your weight loss journey. So what? That's 10 out of 90. That's not so bad. It's okay. You can always recover from a heavy meal, from having chocolate, from even if you go out binge drinking one night with your friends. And I think alcohol is probably one of the worst things for weight loss. Even if you do that, and then you eat all the crap the next day, It's okay. Breathe, relax. If you've gained a kg or two, it's okay. You can work it back off. So I think we need to have a balanced and healthy mindset around weight loss as well. Number one, don't expect it overnight. It's not going to be overnight. Yes, some people can lose weight fast. It's not that you can't do it fast, but expect it to take a while. Then you've got your expectations set. It's a healthier mindset than crash dieting, than trying to get it all off like in 2 weeks for a wedding. I don't think that that's sustainable. I wouldn't do that personally. I would try and do a slow, steady weight loss, get to a place where you're happy, and rather aim to maintain. Now, I know there's events that happen, medications, illness, injury, grief, divorce, death. Let me just try and hold this camera now. My arm's getting tired. And I know there are things that happen that force us to gain the weight, not force us, but that cause us to gain the weight back. That's okay. You can always lose it again. And if it's harder around menopause and perimenopause, my answer to that is, so what? Ladies, I am heavier now than I've been for a while. Like the last few years, it's been more of a battle. So what? What am I going to do? I'm still going to do the same things. I'm going to calorie restrict in some form. And if you don't want to count calories, you don't have to count them, but you are restricting by making healthier food choices, smaller portions, one meal a day, all those things that I said. You pick your method, pick your road. So you're going to do that. You can track your food if you want to. I say it's a good idea, but you don't have to. I mean, people have been losing weight before calorie tracking apps came along. In fact, when I got up on stage and competed, there were no such things as calorie tracking apps. I didn't know about that. All I knew was if I followed the diet my coach gave me, which was roughly, it's quite low, 1,200 calories, which accounts for the reason that I often broke the diet. I just followed the diet. I didn't need to count. You don't have to count. You don't have to weigh, but these are tools. But going back to what I said, if it's harder at this time of our lives, so what? We just have to do the challenge. We're up for the challenge if weight loss is important to you. If it's not, and it doesn't need to be, you're very much allowed to say, you know what, I'm midlife, I'm gaining a little bit, it's okay. There really is no rule to say that every woman has to be on a weight loss journey all the time. You don't. You really don't. You're allowed to be comfortable. I mean, we allow men dad bods. We're allowed the mom bod as well. So ladies, also just take the pressure off. Love yourself, accept yourself with your little bit of a belly, with your whatever it is, wherever you've gained, it's okay. Speaking of belly, now the last thing, people love the belly fat thing. They want to know how to lose the belly fat. If you're losing weight overall, eventually your belly will go too, because you don't just lose weight in one spot, and you don't lose weight in one spot first. You will find you will lose weight overall. I know it appears that certain parts get thinner quicker. It's just because there's less fat there. And so on those parts where you have less fat already, your bones will show more there. It'll look leaner faster. But the truth is, you lose weight. It's like pulling a plug in a bathtub. It all goes down slowly. The same with our weight, or let's say a pool. But where there are steps, let's say those are the leaner parts, you will see the steps quicker. You'll see the leanness quicker in those areas. But overall, eventually the deep end will also go down. The deep end being your fat stores wherever you store it most. For a lot of us, that's the belly. For some of us, it's the hips, the butt, the thighs. It will all go down eventually. But genetically, wherever you store your fat is where you store your fat. You cannot control that. And I've said it in videos before. I store my fat on my lower body, my legs, my thighs, my ankles. That is just a fact. I can't change that. They do get slimmer when I lose weight, but they will never be skinny, skinny ankles. And so there needs to be a level of acceptance that if you are one of those ladies who store more weight around her middle, like some of us do, that is probably the last area to be lean on you. So it may take longer. You just have to stay the course. And overall, that is what I would tell any person who wanted a consult with me. But like I said, I'm no longer doing consults. You need to take control. So you have to say, also, if supper is a big deal, dinners is a big deal in your house, and you want to keep that a big deal, and you want to join your family for dinner, and you want to eat what they are eating, you need to build that in. Okay, that is the meal that contains the most of my calories. And in the mornings, then you're going to have to eat a bit less. You're going to have to. You can't eat all 3 meals, big main meals, and expect to lose weight unless you're maybe training for a marathon. I don't know. And even there, I've seen marathon runners that are still overweight. So, you know, it's got to be something, you've got to be realistic, is what I'm saying. You cannot just eat whatever you want all day long and lose weight. You just can't. I wish it were true. We all wish it were true, but you have to restrict in some way, move your body, which will give you more of a calorie burn, more of a calorie spend, more of a calorie budget, so that you can eat a little bit more now and then. It also is good for your mind, it's good for your body, it's good for your muscles. Resistance training is fantastic. Keep your muscles strong and healthy so that you've got the sugar sponge effect of your muscles. Your muscles they eat up the glycogen, they store glycogen. You want your muscles active. It's good for all kinds of things. But again, don't be obsessive about it, and don't get lost in the woods and the weeds with, you know, what exact form of exercise and exactly how many minutes and how many reps, and just do something. Just if you're doing something, doing some kind of movement, you're restricting for the most part for the long haul over your lifetime. And when I say restricting, not a mental restriction, but just reducing the food that is going in overall. Look at it over your lifetime. Say, in my lifetime, if I eat a bit less, just now and then, overall, more meals than not, if I just have a little bit of a calorie reduction, I will lose weight. At the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it, and you will see success. I promise you. And it's possible at any age and any stage. I have seen people of all ages, of all sizes, lose weight at any stage and every stage of their life. You can do it. It is possible. You just need to stick to something and stay the course. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.